So yeah, let's be live now, live on LinkedIn. Guys, we promised you we would talk about the sustainability risk and our investment thesis. So today on our, I think it's the fourth Ask Me Anything session, we have Dr. James, who is going to share some knowledge on that. And if he misses any bits that I think are vital for you listening there, then I will ask him some questions after the presentation. So over to you, Dr. James.
Okay, thank you, Sian. And just by way of introduction, my name is Dr. Llewellyn James. I'm the CEO of SDGA Assessment. We are a sustainability and ESG reporting platform. But more importantly, we have developed an SDG linked token that will be ready for launch within the next 14 days. And as part of this whole outreach to support sustainable development goals, we are doing this Ask Me Anything session. So today we'll be speaking or discussing, I should say, about the sustainability risk management thesis that we have adopted at SDG Assessment. So let me bring up that particular presentation, and do bear with me while I do so. Let me get that presentation up. There we go. Bring it into view now. Voila, we can begin. So the SDGA token is designed to scale goodness to the world using regenerative finance. And what we hope to do via the SDGA token is to close that annual $4 trillion gap for sustainable development related projects. So today we're going to specifically discuss the sustainability risk management approach that we have adopted in terms of our portfolio and investment thesis. We're going to explore how we are analyzing digital assets and tokenized real world assets that we hope to invest in, and importantly, how you can participate. So let me start by our approach to risk. So risk is defined as the likelihood and consequence of a specified event occurring. And what we see, or what is approaching humanity, and some of us might say it's already here, is that we are exposed to outside risk from sustainability megaforces. Now, this concept of megaforces, global megaforces, was first postulated in a paper entitled Expect the Unexpected. It's a research document that you could more or less Google for yourself, written in 2012. And what it highlighted were 10 global megaforces. One of them is climate change. And climate change is the ultimate threat multiplier. But we are not only looking at it from a threat perspective, but we're also looking at it from an opportunity perspective. So risk is a two-sided coin. There's both threats and opportunities. And there are sustainability opportunities. And our sustainability management model consists of an extension of the classic ESG framework. So we have the economic, social, and environment. But notwithstanding that, information has more or less emerged as a factor for the following reasons. We depend a lot on digital systems for sustaining human life. So banking, finance, trade, all these activities, economic activities, are now being stored on databases or being done using digital devices or end user devices like mobile phones, smartphones, laptops, and other devices like iPads. Now, what our model our research-based model has identified that there are four key pillars to sustainability management. One is sustainability improvement. The other is sustainability assurance, sustainability footprints such as carbon footprints and water footprints, and sustainability reporting. So using that particular model, we are looking to select SDG-linked projects, um, analyze crypto currencies and other currencies that exist on the market, digital currencies, as well as other real-world assets to determine their alignment with UN SDGs. So you're saying, okay, this is a very highly theoretical overarching model. How does it work in practice? Since 2022, our team have been working on developing the SDG assessment framework. And this is a two-level framework that we have created, digital framework. Level one, you look at an assessment of your company's performance in relation to the 17 SDGs. And you also complete a carbon footprint analysis of your performance. Now, unlike other platforms, we don't have a one-size-fits-all carbon calculator. Our carbon calculator is based on country-specific emission factors. So, to give you some insight, the UK has, or DEFRA has produced UK-based emission factors. The Americans have their own emission factors, and the French have emission factors, right? And this is because, and each of these countries have a different level of carbon intensity of their energy supply. So the United States, no disrespect to Americans, a lot of their energy supply is coal-based, which is more carbon intensive. The UK is, of course, gas-fired in a lot of instances, and France is nuclear. So there's a sliding scale, a decreasing sliding scale of carbon intensity from US, Britain, and French emission factors. So we adopt that particular approach because it's a more scientific and more accurate approach to greenhouse gas emission measurement. The level two assessment looks at all 61 UN Sustainable Development Performance Indicators. So late 2022, the United Nations produced a document regarding UN Sustainable Development Performance Indicators. And it arose because SDGs were originally intended for state actors. They weren't intended for businesses. So these 61 indicators were developed as an attempt to reconcile that issue and make UN SDGs more applicable to institutions and organizations that are non-state actors. And what we did as a team is that we created a scorecard based on those 61 indicators. So our scorecard consists of 16 key categories ranging from greenhouse gas emissions to reporting on the number of women that are on boards as a social indicator. And what we did as part of our user interface is that we created this biophilic design. So basically, we looked at a GeoBra, which is exactly what we use to create, a visual understanding of what impact is. So GeoBras come in many different colors, but in this particular case, we utilize the GeoBra design, and we gave it a specific color code. So amber or yellow means that how there's no data available, or alternatively, um, the the company hasn't begun its process towards um, measuring its impacts in relation to that particular performance indicator. If the petal on the gerbera is green, then that company has begun the process and have achieved their particular target, which is to approach zero in the case of carbon emissions, zero impacts. But there's a variation in the color means that the company is heading towards achieving their targets, but they have not fully achieved it as yet. So that's how the interface works. It's based on a research methodology that gives a specific weighting towards environmental aspects of performance, but not discounting the other areas of performance, including the social impacts of the company's performance as well. So it's a very balanced approach, right? Looking at both economic, social, and as well as environmental aspects of business performance. Now, it's our team independently assess each project and each company using publicly available data. And it's important, especially with sustainability, that there's transparency in the way how the firm presents itself as a part of society. So this again is based on some of Michael Porter's work, where he says that um, the firm has a social requirement or remit in relation to society. So firms don't act in a vacuum. They should provide some sort of return to society in terms of what they do. There's also the integration of social indicators within our REFI index. Now, a lot of other sustainability type um, uh, models or risk models tend to discount social issues because it's very difficult to give a quantitative value on something that may be a social good, right? And then how do you then explain to directors what is the return on investment in undertaking a social initiative? Let's say, for example, hiring more managers, female managers within an organization. What is the ROI on that? And these topics are quite difficult to more or less justify in isolation. But when seen from a broader sustainability lens, then it makes sense. The other bit about the REFI index is that how it helps organizations um, to demonstrate strategic and operational alignment with UN SDGs. And it helps us with our portfolio to more or less determine, or sorry, I should say, manage strategic alignment with UN SDGs, which we believe will give outsized returns to investors. So it UN SDGs potentially could be the new alpha for investment. Sian will share with you a link to the REFI index. It's available on the SDGA website. Now, we are not doing this particular project in isolation. As I said, we have funding, some amount of funding from our US-based partners, Plural Industries Holding Group. We are also in discussions with Automedi about using plastic waste with no additional cleaning or any special treatment to make new products using 3D printing technology. We have links in Asia with Felix MedTech with their revolutionary solution for Chinese medicine, as well as assurance system to trace products from farm to fork, or from origin to finally using on as an input into a manufacturing or construction site. So what they do is that using their technological solution, they could provide that end-to-end traceability within a company's value chain. And our training partners, Center for Sustainable Action, that are working on us to improve the SDG learning journey that will be undertaken by organizations that uh, use our SDG assessment tools, both the level 1 and level 2 assessment. Notwithstanding, I'm very proud that we were voted one of the top 60 fintech startups at Hong Kong FinTech Week. And look out over the next 14 days, 2 weeks, we will be finally officially launching the token for sale on decentralized exchanges, which is a topic that we'll speak about at one of our Ask Me Anything sessions. So if you want to participate in this exciting and revolutionary concept using digital currencies to more or less fund SDGs, feel free to make contact with us or download our initial coin offering document. Thank you very much. Look forward to your questions in the chat, or if you want to contact me directly, I'm always available for a quick call at any time. Okay. Over to you, Sian.
Well, thank you for that presentation. I don't have many questions. I just was wanting to share with the audience how the SDGA roadmap is prepared and will prepare the projects that are being invested in for emerging sustainability challenges like in the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay, Sian, thanks for that question. So as part of our vetting process for SDG linked projects, we have we're going to undertake with the Center for Sustainable Action a SDG accelerator. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, so this SDG accelerator is based upon the UN's methodology for SDG accelerators. We will, of course, use their approach, but we'll also enhance it by giving selected organizations the opportunity to undertake SG level 1 and SG level 2 assessment as part of the accelerator process. By doing so, we'll have the appropriate data that we could share with potential investors on our DAO. So our community will then vote via the DAO to
The token holding community.
Yeah, the token holding community,
Yeah.
that is. Yeah, thank you for that clarification. They'll then select projects based upon what they believe sufficient return on investment could be achieved. Also, the reserve fund will invest in those projects as necessary. So it will be a community driven investment decision.
And that's what I like about the project. It's really using the power of decentralized finance.
Yeah.
To, for the everyday person out there who's never invested in crypto and is thinking about it, it's a chance to stand up with your money and say, actually, this project would help the environment, help social projects, is sustainable development goals. So it's not just myopic on environment, it's on social problems, equitability, all the problems that are addressed by SDGs, basically. And by addressing the gerbera, the whole gerbera through business, we can create massive change. So I'm excited to essentially have that power of voting and of tokenization and using the reason why blockchain was set up, you know,
Yeah,
um, actually using it for that. So it's the power of blockchain for good.
yeah. Well, it gives an opportunity to democratize financial investment.
Mm,
What has happened is, in our view, blockchain and particular Bitcoin has been hijacked by large investors and large institutions for other purposes than it was intended for. It was meant to be used as a form where everyone could participate in. And what has emerged is that how it's been ring fenced by large institutions, and we want to get back to that original intention.
yeah.
All
And I
all
know the community
yes,
that are in blockchain are very much passionate about that and want to see this technology used for good.
yeah,
And like you've said, that investment opportunity. So no matter what level you're at in investment, maybe you've never done it before, but you're passionate about sustainability projects. I know a lot of people in our network, that's their life.
yeah,
They are championing the cause of a better planet and a better way of being, and to make sure that their communities can jump on board, put their projects forward to the DAO and to the accelerator process we've got. So this is an opportunity that if you're working in sustainability, and I'm sure you have an awesome community behind you, that community can now vote with whatever resources they have, whether they're large or small. And on that note, I know people have said to me, then what's to stop large institutional investors taking over SDGA token and holding outweighted amount like what has happened in Bitcoin and influence the projects that are getting put through? What's there in our mechanisms to stop that?
that is a brilliant question, and it's something that we have looked at in our ICU document. It clearly states that no one investor could hold more than 2 to 5% of tokens, right? So
So
that
then, sorry, I'm going to interrupt because I know we don't have time, but so that's great. Like, no one investor can hold more than two. How much did you say again?
2 to 5%,
2 to 5% of the overall 8 billion tokens that we're minting. And then as an investor, I'm like, well, how am I going to get a return? If I'm an investor that could hold more than 2 to 5%, how am I going to get a return?
right? So the return again will be based upon a number of different things. So in our journey and our portfolio, they're as follows. So we intend to mint high quality carbon credits for sale.
Mm.
Of course, that will provide a return back to the community. We also intend to mint plastic credits, which is an emerging type of real world asset. We're also going to expand into biodiversity credits and water credits. So there's a lot of different um, potential products that we could sell. So that's one side of it. The other side, because we are focused on,
Sorry, and this will increase the value of the token, thus
yeah, in
increase
general,
your
yeah,
investment. Even if you're a small investor or you're a sustainable business and your community have invested to put you forward, that means that their investment in SDGA will grow as the organizations grows with these other products that will be coming out.
yeah, and unlike other types of digital investments and digital assets, well, we will invest in products and services that are inherently sustainable. So yes, Bitcoin is going up in price, which I know many of you are aware of, but Bitcoin in itself is not sustainable. So we won't No, and secondly, no one is actually purchasing products using Bitcoin. No one is going to the supermarket and say, well, okay, I'm spending X number of Bitcoin to purchase a banana or milk or any sort of product. So we are looking at having our reserve fund focused on digital assets that are actually being used by individuals. So a good example of this are cryptocurrencies such as USDC, which is a stablecoin, and you would see on our refi index it's dominated by a lot of stablecoins because those are actually items that are being used, assets, digital assets that are being used by people in the real world. So we are very much focused on ensuring that any investment decision we make is being thoroughly analyzed from a sustainability lens and is applicable in the real world and is not a phantom asset. And there are a lot of phantom credits outside there and phantom coins that I would not,
And I think that's something that
actually.
scares the market. That scares the market because those who have never invested yet, because of manufactured bad news, because then that keeps small investors away from it, but also, things that like phantom credits, people are like, why would I invest in a picture? But this is a way to invest in real change on the ground for people who are creating sustainable projects. Because I know the challenges that businesses are up against due to climate issues and social issues is sometimes it feels insurmountable for the businesses that we speak to regularly. And it's time for change. And that change happens with democratization and all of us taking like just like the centers of cooperative is not one thing that's going to change it. It's us coming together and all saying, right, okay, I want this to change. And how can I make it happen? And the SDGA token is going to be a way that you can start having your say as a small business as well as a fast growth company, and you can have your say like how is this going to change the effects that are hitting me with climate change due to, for my small business. So this is the opportunity that we're building here. And as you've seen, hopefully the post today on our socials, we are ahead of our target time. It is phenomenal what we're achieving because we have such an amazing team behind us. We have, you can check on the Centre for Sustainable Action's website. We have an amazing advisory board with leading minds in sustainability and strategy. So it's not, it's never been and it is not about what we're building. It is about because we are making that ecosystem there, but it's about everybody engaging in that ecosystem. It's about everybody now saying, okay, we want change. If you want change, then it's time to, contact us. Go on our website, sdga.io, and register your interest and come on board and let's make the change then. So we don't need to just talk about it now, we can actually do it. So this regenerative finance token is a chance to do it, is to inspire your community around your business to do it. Let's do it together. And on that note, we got to go.
Yeah, it's well, until next week. I
And next week, there's not an event planned next
we
week.
don't have one plan.
No, we don't.
Hmm.
Don't worry, Dr. James, I'll keep you right.
Thank you.
So, yeah, until our next event,
I'm enjoying myself so much, Dan. Yeah.
which is most likely to be around getting your wallet, because what we've had
Yes.
is a lot of people who do have these organizations and community are wanting to take action. And the next blocker that we've seen is that they don't know how to get a wallet and a wallet address or what wallet to get and how to do the how to. So we're working on an Ask Me Anything session to support people to get their wallet and get ready for this token. so they can get the well, we've had a pre-release price. There was a couple people got in there and they're going to be so happy. But we'll have another pre-launch price, and then it's your chance to jump on it. So that will be our next session. We'll let you know. Just, follow us and keep in touch.
Okay.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.